evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Intersim Esports Network on a Sunday night. And that means, again, Australasian Supercar eSeries time. Tonight, we head to the virtual Lime Rock Park circuit in the classic form. My name is Aidan Schultz, as always, and joining me in the booth is Paul Jackson. Good evening to you, Paul.
There you go, Aidan. Sunday night. We the second to last round, I think, for the Australasian SUPERCAR eSeries. So we'll see, being a road course, we'll see what happens and if there's a bit of a shake-up in the points going into the final round next week.
Yeah, it definitely is the penultimate round of the Australasian Supercar eSeries right here on the Intersim Esports Network. Justin Witcher going into this second last round with a substantial lead in this championship, Paul. And of course, the Australasian Supercar eSeries is brought to you by Ray White Rural Gander. But as you see there, they are the current points as we head into the second last round. Justin Witcher on top there with a commanding lead, 369 points. Gary Wellman second on 346. And Troy Davidson nipping at his heels there on 337 points, Paul. But Cade Donnelly is one to watch tonight. He's currently quickest in practice, setting the benchmark with a 49.71.
Definitely, and Cade's been having some strong results in the last couple of weeks as well, along with Aaron Dillon and Gary Wellman as well. They've all been up there, the Sim boys, so definitely be keeping an eye on them tonight, along with Justin Witcher, but also Darren McKenzie as well. He's quite a strong road racer in these V8 supercars as well, so he'll be one to look out for.
He most definitely will. And I saw a video today, Paul, that was kindly sent to me by Andy Barber, who's in this race. And Margaret Shannon did that one for, I don't know who she did it for, actually, but it was a good little video. And she said Cade Donnelly was one to look out for, and also Darren McKenzie. Or don't write off the 05 of Andy Barber. He's only 0.3 of a second off Cade Donnelly's top time at the moment. Justin Witcher, our championship leader, sitting back there in 8th in practice so far with a 50.22. So he's got about half a second to find, but we've just rolled over from practice and we're about to jump into qualifying. It's only a quick 5-minute qualifying tonight, ladies and gentlemen, as it's only a 50-second lap. So we'll see these guys get out on track very shortly and set their times and see who's going to take pole position for the second last round of the Australasian Supercar eSeries, Paul.
Definitely, and with the commencing final couple of rounds here, we have some exciting news with the Season 2 schedule release. So if you stick around for the broadcast, and we will bring up the Season 2 schedule sneak peek for next season at the end of the broadcast.
Yep. Yes, we certainly will, Paul. And how good is it for the guys from the Australasian Supercar eSeries to allow us at the Intersim Esports Network to bring all the action for what will be Season 2 of the Australasian Supercar eSeries. So we hope you've enjoyed all the action here on the Intersim Esports Network, as we have 2 rounds left to play in this one, but we'll be bringing all the action to you live here in the second season, which I believe starts approximately October 25th. So currently we see Troy Davidson out on track at the moment. That's not Troy, sorry, but we're just seeing the guys go around and set their times at the moment. So they like to change their liveries to keep it up. Keep me on my toes. There was a gentleman in here I hadn't seen before earlier, but he has seemed to drop away. So it's a smaller field tonight, guys. Not as big being a road course, but that doesn't mean the action isn't going to be hot and fast. 18-car grid tonight as we're on board with the Ray White Rural Gander car of Pete Matson. Hopefully he can have a nice solid one tonight. Adam Malone hasn't come out. There's a lot of purple sectors there, Paul. Christopher Finlay, Troy Davidson setting purple sectors, but we'll keep on board with the man Pete Matson as he comes through the downhill final corner and see how his lap is going to end up. 2 green sectors coming across the start-finish line, and this will put Peter in the... Just wait for that to come up on my timing screen. And it looks like he might have got an X through that lap there, Paul, as that didn't register a time. But Troy Davidson's gone to the top with a 50.04, closely followed by Darren McKenzie. No sooner did I say that, Aaron Dillon just jumps to the top with a 49.75. Cade Donnelly, his teammate there, with a 49.80. And Troy Davidson rounding out your three currently with a 50.04. So those Sim Boys racing cars are up the pointy end again of this one as we're on board there with the Southern Stars entry of Adam Malone. I believe that was coming through the final corner. Sorry, that was Darren McKenzie. They've got all similar livery cars, so I do apologise, guys. That looks like that's Philip Howe in the 96 car. We'll see how he goes around. So we'll just go down and go through a couple of the other results so far in this qualifying session. We're 3 minutes into 5. So Andy J. Barber sitting there in 5th place in the 05 car. Christopher Finlay's done his time. He's sitting in pit lane. He'll take the 6th starting position at the moment at 50.39. Terry Marwood there in 7th. Aaron Bryan in 8th. Todd Maxfield in 9th. Nigel Patton in 10th. Still waiting on Witcher, Malone, Jaeger, Jared Daly, Wellman, all to do those times. So we're on board there with the Southern Stars racing car. We'll just stay on with him at the moment and see how he goes around. I believe this one is Adam Malone from what I can see here. No, it's Andy Barber, sorry, in the 05 car. So Andy Barber's just gone to the top with a 49.72. So where'd that come from Andy? Great time there to see him at the top, Paul.
Yeah, definitely. That's a bit of a surprising time there, but Andy can be quite quick around the circuit as well. So very nice time there by Andy Barber. And these guys will all be flying tonight, and literally as they go up over the hill, there'll be a bit of airtime for the drivers as well, getting a bit airborne.
Yeah, there will be, and it's going to be a tricky place to pass tonight, mate, I think. It's not the widest track, as you can see there on the screen. And, yeah, I believe that could be Greg Spencer. But, yeah, it's not the widest track, so it's going to be interesting to see where these guys decide to make their pass. I reckon down here into turn 1, where as you can see Gary Wellman there in the Sim Boys car, this is definitely going to be one of the big passing spots into this long double apex right-hand corner. And then even if they get a good run off of here, as he's just gone off, he would have got a 0x for that one or a 1x for that one. So that's probably going to put pay to that one. But Paul's a very tricky track, and even we'll just stay on board with him and show you what it's like down into here. They are running the classic circuit. So as they come down through here, as we're about to end qualifying, usually you would turn right and left into a sharp chicane there, but they're going around the long sweeping right. But it looks like we have our starting grid all set for the second last round of the Australasian SUPERCAR eSeries. And off the pole will be Andy Barber out of P2, Aaron Dillon. Cade Donnelly will start out of the 3rd starting position, and Troy Davidson out of 4. Darren McKenzie out of 5, and Christopher Finlay will be on the outside of that 2nd row in 6. Greg Spencer will start out of 7th, Terry Marwood in 8th. Gary Wellman in 9th, Adam Malone out of P10, Aaron Bryan out of 11, and Justin Witcher out of 12, Paul.
And over the page we go. Raymond Jaeger finally back in the driver's seat again in P13. Todd Maxfield P14. Nigel Patton in P15. P16 Philip Howe. P17 Peter Matson. And P18 Gerard Daly.
Only a small grid of 18 cars here, ladies and gentlemen, but it is definitely going to be action-packed. They are doing something a little bit different. It is a rolling start here tonight. It's not going to be a standing start, so something a little bit different to launch these cars offline instead of trying to get 800 horsepower down to the ground from a standing start. It will be a rolling start, so hopefully they can get through the first couple of corners nice and cleanly. There will be no cautions tonight, ladies and gentlemen. As we do on road tracks, it's going to go green for 40, so they're going to want to keep these cars as clean as possible. Paul, we haven't done it for a while. Round 12 of the Australasian SUPERCAR eSeries. Before these guys get rolling, who's your pick?
Ooh. Let's go with Cade Donnelly. He had some good run at Laguna Seca, so we'll pick Cade Donnelly, I think.
Well, I'm going to go another Sim Boys racing car, and sorry, Andy, we're not going to put the mocker on you tonight starting out of the pole position. So I'm going to go for the 104 car of Christopher Finlay. He's quite good around these road tracks. He's going to have to navigate 5 cars to get to the front, but he'll be quite quick, so keep an eye on him. But Andy Barber from the Southern Stars Racing outfit, how good does that car look as they move their way away from the grid behind that safety car? Aaron Dillon will start on the outside of that second row. Kate Donnelly, Troy Davidson will start in the second row. So here we go. They'll go around the final corner here. You'll watch the pace car go in. It will be green when it goes green, not on the leader. So Andy Barber brings us to the green. It's quite a long run down here. We're going to wait for that green flag to drop. Here we go for round 11 of the Australasian Supercar eSeries, and we are green. Andy Barber with a great start, and it looks like that is Kate Donnelly right behind him with a great start into turn 1. Can they get it through there nice and cleanly? Andy Barber taking a lot of curb on the entry there. Don't get out on those weeds there, guys. They do a good job to get it through turn 2. Change of direction into turn 3. A long sweeping left-hander. Quick change of direction right. Roll it through the apex. Andy Barber on the gas as quick as he can, and Andy Barber with a great start to this one. Already nearly a second on Kate Donnelly. Aaron Dillon, Darren McKenzie is already up a position up there in 4th. But what a start by Gary Wellman, up into 5th spot, Paul, already early in this one.
Yeah, Gary had a real great start there. He ducked out to the inside line there for turn 1 and jumped a few cars there. It was a pretty good move there off the start.
Yeah, it was a good move off the start by Wellman from the Simboys Racing Team, but that's lap 1 down in the banks, 2 of 40. We are underway. So that's how quick you get around this Lime Rock Park circuit, as we saw a car just lock up on the entry there into 1. So that's a nice big double apex there into 1. Lots of change of directions in this one. So tyre wear may end up being a little bit of an issue on the front, as you see Gary Wellman push a little bit wide there through the 3rd corner. I'll call it the 3rd corner because they're double apexes, but Gary Wellman off to that great start, Paul. He's up 4 positions. Shane Clark, he's the gentleman that I hadn't seen before in the 888 car. He started out of the 18th position. He's up 5 spots into 13th at the moment. So great driving by everyone at the moment. We don't see any incidents on track. So there we are on board with Shane Clark of the 888 there, currently sitting in the 13th position. He's had a nice solid start to this one. Who's in behind him? Looks like that Raymond Yeager's sitting there in the 14th. And how good is it to see Raymond back behind the steering wheel tonight, Paul? He's been in the booth the last couple of weeks as he's had a bit of an issue with his gear. So great to see Raymond back behind the wheel in that car, mate.
Definitely a few weeks with some technical difficulties with his equipment there, but back on track once again. So I'm sure he's been missing racing, but now he might miss being in the booth.
Yeah, I'm sure he would be. He's sitting back there in 14th at the moment, but I bet you it doesn't feel like he's in 14th around this track with 18 cars. I don't know if you saw that, Paul. We'll watch that next lap. We'll stay on board with Andy Barber leading the way as he comes across the strike to take the 4th lap of 40. So already a 10th of the way there. When he came up over the hill at the back end of that circuit, both front wheels were off the ground, mate. So that just goes to show the undulation in this track as they get up to the back end of this circuit. Kate Donnelly just sitting there in behind him as well. So this aero wash will definitely play a part too in these cars, having such high aero on them and with the change of direction. So if Andy can just keep that car nice and straight at the moment as he comes around this right-hand corner, just watch him come up over this hill and watch these front wheels just lift off the ground. Both wheels, oh, and Kate Donnelly nearly flies it like a plane into the grass. That's just crazy over the top of that hill at probably 200 kilometres an hour, Paul.
Definitely, and these guys have been doing a great job holding on to that car as well when they're landing and not getting a bit loose and losing the car under them.
Yeah, you'd want to keep that wheel straight. But, well, these guys have settled down, and we just watch Andy Barber at the lead of this motor race for what is round 11 and the penultimate round of the Australasian Supercar eSeries. A big shout-out, of course, to the sponsors, Ray White Rural Gander, which is the naming rights sponsor of this series, of course. As you can see on your screens there, of course, also Witcher Electrics, which is Justin Witcher, your current championship leader. He's currently sitting sitting back in 10th at the moment, up 2 on his starting position, so good job by him as well. And of course, our friends at AP Esports for coming on board as well. So looking forward to the next season, but I tell you what, keep your eyes glued here, ladies and gentlemen, because we've still got 2 rounds to go, and we're lap 5 of 40 of round 11 at Lime Rock Park. We're on board there, or was on board with Christopher Finlay, but we're on board now with Justin Witcher, slowly making his way up there. Justin's pretty much got this championship in the bag. It's his to lose at the moment. He just needs to roll around and consolidate those positions and those finishing positions at the minute, Paul, but anything can happen. But I can say it's still mathematically possible, but at the moment he's definitely in a good position to take this one out.
And Todd Maxfield's having a bit of unfortunate time there. He's jumped back to pit, so we might just see what happened there with Todd.
Yeah, most definitely. So we just watched the 016 of Todd Maxfield on this change of direction, taking a bit of curb. Way too much curbs, just put him out into the grass and just lost it himself and straight onto the inside wall. So not the way that Todd Maxfield wanted to start this one, Paul, early on, as we're only 6 laps, just going 7 laps into 40. So a long way back for Todd, as he's just gone 1 lap down, taking his repairs for there. But Cade Donnelly slowly ranging up on the back of Andy Barber here, and don't write off Darren McKenzie. He's just sitting there with his stalking brief in 3rd as well. So Darren McKenzie's no mugging these cars around a road course. I know that we see him a lot in the ovals, but he can definitely drive these cars around any circuit. But Cade Donnelly putting the pressure right onto the back of Andy Barber. Andy Barber getting a mirror full of the 41 Simboys car of Cade Donnelly. So they come across the line this time. Andy Barber still leads the way from the pole position. Cade Donnelly up 1 position on his 3rd starting position in 2nd. And Darren McKenzie is your current top 3. So these guys have got a little bit of a gap on the rest of the field. It is Southern Stars racing 1 and 3, Simboys racing 2 at the moment. So Cade Donnelly is a little bit of the meat in the sandwich at the moment. So we'll see how this goes as the race continues, Paul, but it's settled down nicely so far.
Definitely, and no cautions around here, as Margaret said, so no safeties, there's no live race control, there's only yellow flags and sectors on the track, so it'll be full noise for everyone, and just to see what everyone can do for pace laps. Everyone will be trying to do quali laps every lap to try and get that gap over someone else, but time will tell, obviously, on how much tyre wear and that will happen. They do have 75% fuel, so they'll need to make a stop, I'd say, under green as well.
Yeah, 100%, I believe they will as well. But if we look at the top 3 at the moment, they're currently lapping at about half a second quicker than Aaron Dillon in 4th position, and people down in the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and Aaron Bryan rounding out your 10. But here's a move for the lead, ladies and gentlemen. Cade Donnelly up the inside. While I was reading, he's taken the move on Andy Barber. Andy Barber just making slight contact with Cade Donnelly there through the second last corner. But now we have a 3-way chain for the lead. And here we go down the main straight. They're about to go lap 10 into 40. And Andy Barber getting very defensive down the main straight on Darren McKenzie. No, he's let Darren go. So Darren obviously feels like he's quicker than Andy Barber early in this one. And Darren's now been set free to chase after Cade Donnelly.
Yeah. Bit of teamwork there, and Southern Stars, they'll be in the comms working together, so obviously they want to put one of those cars in the prime P1 spot, so we'll see if Darren McKenzie can claw back at Cade Donnelly, but Cade's looking very fast tonight.
He is. He very decisive move there too, up over the hill where you get airborne there. So they nearly made some contact. Oh, as we see Andy Barber going very wide, so he's gone hard early and might have worn those front tyres a little bit, or just settling that car down waiting. So Darren McKenzie showing a lot of pace. I see Shannon Wright jumping into the comments. So thank you, Shannon, for jumping in and watching. Oh no, bloody daylight savings, he says. Don't worry, mate. I was the same. I just made it here 15 minutes before we went live, as it is only 6 or 7 o'clock, just after 7 o'clock here in Queensland where I am. So yeah, mate, you're not the only one. But I'm here and Paul's here, and this is round 11 of the Australasian Supercar eSeries as we see a Pinnacle eSports car, Greg Spencer, go off in the background. So that's just given another position to our championship leader, Justin Witcher, and he's now up into P7, Paul, and he is lapping faster than all the cars in front of him up to third place, Andy Barber.
And another Southern Stars car there, Adam Malone. So Adam's on the back there, started in P10, currently sitting in P10. So he's just working away on those laps, but he's in a bit of a close battle there with Aaron Bryan and Christopher Finlay.
Yeah, he hasn't made any moves on his starting position, but still solid there in 10th. Adam hasn't had a good run lately in a lot of the things that he's run, as we're going to see a move here for the 9th position up the inside of Christopher Finlay there. So it looks like Aaron Bryan in the 817 made the move on Christopher Finlay, and Aaron Bryan will move up to the 8th position. So Aaron Bryan, not someone we've seen much in this series either, having a solid start to this one, Paul, as well. So we'll see that. He's moved up into 8th. So Cade Donnelly still leading this one. He's got about half a second on Darren McKenzie at the moment and Andy Barber. So we'll just stay on with this battle for a little bit because it looks like it's hotting up for these positions. But Aaron Bryan just slowly pulling that gap on Christopher Finlay. Back in 9th, and Adam Malone will be sitting there waiting for each one of these guys to possibly make a mistake, and it's very easy to do so around here. Everything happens so quick. They're only 50-second lap times. We're already over a quarter race distance rather, and it's going quicker than we expect. But Shannon Wright is saying, oh, there we go. Adam Malone trying to make the move up the inside, but Shannon Wright quickly commenting on the stream saying, have a great race, guys. Go ETS Racing, so going for Terry Marwood. So we'll keep one eye on Terry, but he's down 5 spots on his starting position at the moment. Pete Matson, Ray White Rural Gander, Terry Marwood's right behind him at the moment, so they're battling for the 12th and 13th position. Peter Matson with a great start to this one. He's up 5 spots, so he's up to 12th at the moment. The only one that looks like has had a little bit of issue during the race so far is Todd Maxfield, so he's the only one. He's now 7 laps down. Everyone else still running quite solidly, so we'll just keep an eye on these times at the front. Darren McKenzie just did 0.2 of a second faster than Cade Donnelly last time around. And Andy Barber doing the same time as the leader. So it was a 50.59 for Cade Donnelly, a 50.44 for Darren McKenzie, and a 50.57 for Andy Barber. So we'll see whether Darren McKenzie can peg back Cade Donnelly just that little bit more on this lap. So they come around the second last corner, down the hill into this fast sweeping right-hand corner. This time past the strike, they will take lap 15 of 40. Cade Donnelly leading the way, looking for yet another win here at the Australasian Supercar eSeries for the 41 Simboys racing car, but Darren McKenzie's not going to let it have it all his own way as he ranges up onto the back of Cade through the double apex right-hand corner. Change of direction here. Darren McKenzie getting a little bit of wheel spin out of that first corner. Very quick hands there by Darren to catch it. Moving through the next section of the track down into this downhill fast right-hand sweeper. They're going to come up over the hill, and you're going to see their front wheels come off the ground once again. Bang, over the top. Darren getting real loose. Oh, and Darren's just held onto it. That's how quick it can happen coming up over the hill. Darren McKenzie with a big moment, lap 15 into 40, Paul.
Definitely, and as I said, these guys doing a great job to try and keep that money under their... Sorry, I was just reading Shory's comment there. Shory's saying his money's on Andy Barber. But yeah, these guys doing a great job there to keep the car under themselves when they go over that jump, when they go up the hill there. And yeah, great job by Darren to catch that and keep going.
It was a great job, but that's just how quick it can happen around this classic Lime Rock Park. So as easy as it can happen to Darren McKenzie, it can happen to Cade Donnelly at the front as we're back on board with him heading over that exact section of track. He was a little bit more cautious that time around, and Andy Barber nearly did the same thing in the background of his teammates. So don't follow Darren there, Andy. That's not the way to go, as we just saw Darren the lap before. So those Southern Stars racing guys making similar mistakes on the each lap after each other, and that's allowed Cade Donnelly just stretch his legs at the front to extend that gap to 1.62 seconds. So Andy Barber currently has a 3-second gap over Aaron Dillon, who is Cade Donnelly's teammate from Simboys Racing, sitting back there in 4th. So 17 laps now of 40. We're nearly halfway through this one. Getting excited. Ryan Barber reckons the crowd goes wild. I tell you what, I did. And Michael Shaw tuning in. Thank you, Shawing. Congratulations once again on your P3 today, mate. Well deserved. His money's on Andy Barber. So Andy's currently doing a P3, but here's some lap traffic. It looks like that is Nigel Payton in the Pinnacle Esports. Does a great job to get out of the road of our race leader there. We'll see whether he does the same for 2nd and 3rd. It looks like he'll just move across as they come down onto the main straight, and he does just that. So 1st, 2nd and 3rd not hindered, with Nigel, who had unfortunate start to this one. He's dropped back pretty quickly, but it's only a 52nd lap time, as we have said. So no sooner do you blink, you could get lapped if you're just that couple of seconds slower. So Aaron Dillon now we're on board with the 013 Simboys Racing car. He's keeping that gap to Andy Barber at just over that 3-second mark. So it's not really going anywhere, and he's got a 3-second gap over his teammate, the 45 of Gary Wellman. So 1.8 seconds, 1.9 seconds, the gap at the front's now moved out from Cade Donnelly to Darren McKenzie, and Andy Barber 8/10 behind him. But we'll keep on board with Aaron Dillon at the moment. He's coming off a win a couple of weeks ago here at the Australasian SUPERCAR eSeries, and he'll be the first to admit that it was definitely a long time between drinks for the 013 Aaron Dillon, who is the reigning champion of this series. It wasn't called the Australasian SUPERCAR eSeries last time, but he is the reigning champion of this series, and he didn't have a good start. So it was good to see Aaron get back in the winner's circle just a couple of weeks ago, as it looks like that was Nigel Payton locking up into turn 1 there. So that's as easy as it can happen around here. Now, as Aaron Dillon was getting loose, but we'll just go back to that replay of Nigel Payton. So coming down into this hard braking zone, into this double apex right-hander, just way too hard under brakes, and that 1.5 ton of race car does not want to pull up from nearly 300 kilometres an hour down to about 100 that easily, and Nigel Payton found out the hard way, and as I saw there, Aaron Dillon getting a lot of wheel spin in behind him out of 1. But back on board with Aaron Dillon at the moment. He lost about a second with that wheel spin. Cade Donnelly still leading the way. Looks like Philip Howe there got out of the road, and he's gone a lap down as well. So Cade Donnelly still going well here at the front of the race. And let's go on board with the 41 of Cade Donnelly as he leads the way halfway through round 11 of the Australasian SUPERCAR eSeries right here on the InterSim Esports Network. There we are, ladies and gentlemen, a lap around the Lime Rock Park in the classic layout by the 41 of Cade Donnelly, the current leader of this motor race. He's currently 1.8 seconds in front of Darren McKenzie. So, Paul, that gap at the front's just stabilised a little bit at the moment. They've got another second and a bit on Andy Barber there in 3rd. So it looks like these guys, the car has settled down a little bit. Their tyre wear settled down as Cade gets really close to getting the exit there out of the penultimate corner of this track. So it's sort of settled down at the front here, Paul. They've pulled a massive gap of 5.5 seconds on Aaron Dillon there in 4th. So 22 laps into this one, and it looks like the guys have just settled it down a little bit.
Speaking of that, looks like Justin's trying to make some moves. He's currently a second there behind Troy Davidson, so he's trying to catch up on the back of Troy to jump up to P6. So he's currently in P7, up 5 spots from his starting. Todd Maxfield there saying he's out with no force feedback, so bit of technical difficulties there for Todd Maxfield, so it's unlucky. And Sammy K saying hi, so hi back, Sammy.
Yeah, g'day Sam. Thanks for tuning in, and unfortunate there for you too, Todd. Unfortunate start, mate. The old force feedback, when that goes mid-race, it can be very throwing. So that's obviously why you ended up on the inside wall. But we look forward rather to seeing you for round 12 next week, mate. So look forward to that one. But here's Justin Witcher. We're on board with, at the moment, the leader of the championship, as you said, Paul, up 5 positions. He's into P7. We'll look at his last lap times as they come across. He's half a second quicker than the 2 guys in front. So he's making his way up onto the back of Troy Davidson at the moment. If he can get the job done on Troy, that'll move him up into 6th and, into 5th. He's just made up a position. So Pete Matson's gone into pit lane. Aaron Dillon through pit lane. That's Aaron Dillon's gone back to 10th. So Aaron must have had a little bit of an issue. We'll go back and have a look at that one. Hopefully you guys spotted that. Philip Howe back marker there as we watch Aaron Dillon, come down. Oh, just caught some grass on the entry to turn 1 right in his braking zone. Did he keep it off the fence? No, he didn't. So that is not what you do into turn 1 at Lime Rock Park, Paul.
No, definitely not. Just coming in a little bit too hard there, too hot, and couldn't get the braking done. I think he even got a little bit loose on the grass there as well, just trying to use all of that track. But back with Justin Witcher, he's closing that gap to Troy now, and he's looking to make that move for P5.
Yeah, he is. What a great move. And we've still got people commenting. Shorey says, thanks, Sam, but the race was dominated by Jason. I disagree with that one. But anyway, we'll move along. So Sam is tuning in, and they're having a great chat. Steve Quasi Hoppet, Mr. Steve Hoppet, great racing on this layout. Southern Stars boys will finish strong tonight. They certainly will, as we just keep on board with Justin Witcher. Where is he going to make the move? They come into the final turn here, and we'll see whether he can get the run down into 1. He looks racy. He looks like he's going to want to put it in on the brakes. Little bit too far back there, as he just thinks second of that one. So Justin Witcher just sits in behind Troy Davidson. It's no place for Justin to be making any silly moves now. He's going to have a solid finish if he finishes there in 6th, and it's going to help him almost shake this championship out tonight. So Justin won't want to do anything silly, but he's definitely got a quicker car there in the 21 Witcher Electrics Pinnacle Esports car on the the 023 of Troy Davidson. So it looks like he's wanting to make this move as he looks up into this corner here. No, just poking the nose. He's sitting in that mirror there of Troy Davidson saying, hey, Troy, I'm here. I want to make a move. You're going to make a mistake. So Troy holding steady at the front at the moment, but Justin's got a better run onto the main straight as they come down here now. This time across, they'll go lap 27. He's just a little bit too far behind to make that move into turn 1, but he's definitely quicker through this change of direction through the first part of the track. So we'll see whether he can get a good run up the hill as we go further on into this one and try and make this move for the 5th position, Paul.
Yeah, looking very racy, but it is a hard track to make the move, make the pass without any contact at times. They're lucky they don't have those chicanes in there going up the hill and over the top here, but just the classic layout there. So hopefully we'll see Justin be making this move on this lap. He's just ranging up on the back there of Troy Davidson, getting closer, and he looks like he's in a good spot here now to make a move into 1.
Yeah, he's in a good spot. He runs it in really hard. Troy's going to just pinch him a little bit, but Troy goes a little bit wide on entry. He's had to just apply that brake, otherwise he was going to end up into the grass. So there we go. There's the move for P5. Steve Hoppet's jumped into the broadcast again, reckons Witcher is going to move up into P3. So that's a solid call there by Steve Hoppet, but Witcher doing a great job in 5th. So Gary Wellman is the next target for him, who is 1.6 seconds down the road. But here is the battle for the lead of this race. Darren McKenzie is right up on the back of Cade Donnelly. We don't even have to say the time that he's in behind Cade Donnelly, because you can physically see that on your screens. Southern Stars racing of Darren McKenzie, doing a great job in P2. And yes, the livery does suit Darren. It looks really good. So striking livery there. All the cars from the Southern Stars Racing are striking. So Darren McKenzie, one of his first times out in the Southern Stars livery, not used to seeing him in that in a supercar, let alone anything else. But it's something we're definitely going to have to get used to. And he is about to make a move for the lead of this motor race as he comes up over that dreaded hill where he made a mistake early. We'll see whether he can get a good run through these final two corners and try and make a move on Cade Donnelly into one that we just saw Justin Witcher too. So he's driving it in a little bit more shallow than Cade, just trying to get it to rotate earlier, get outside of that aero wash. He's not quite there. He's going to have a look. He's put it up the inside of the mirrors of Cade Donnelly, exactly what Justin Witcher did there. He nearly did the same thing as Troy Davidson did, ran it a little bit hot through that double apex, but he's still there. Just Darren McKenzie definitely wanting to lead this one, Paul, 29 of 40. Oh, he's caught a little bit of ground, and he's in the wall as he kept it off the wall. Darren McKenzie is off. That's going to allow second place to Andy Barber. Darren McKenzie back to third. He's lucky he's got a massive gap there on Gary Wellman, so not too bad. He's still in a podium position, but Darren McKenzie wasn't wanting that, Paul.
No, definitely not. He was looking good there to make the moves on Cade. Looking very racy. So lap 29 of 40, only 11 to go. Not sure if Darren's going to be able to claw that gap back now, but Andy Barber there, sitting back in P2. It's his turn again to have another crack at Cade.
Yeah, we'll see whether Andy Barber's got anything for Cade Donnelly at the front, so we'll just keep an eye on those lap times. Andy Barber was 2/10 quicker than Cade Donnelly last time around the circuit. Looks like their rears are heating up there on the 05 Southern Stars Racing car. He's actually the designer of these liveries, so great job by Andy Barber. He did the liveries on all the Southern Stars Racing cars, so not only can he design them, he can drive them. So we'll see what the gap is this time through as we stay on board with the 05 of Andy Barber. As I said last time around, 51.30 by Cade Donnelly and a 51.12. So we'll see this time through. Cade Donnelly's just about to go across the strike. He's done a 51.07 and a 51.44. So Cade Donnelly has just stretched that gap out another 0.3 of a second over Andy Barber, who has a 5-second gap on his teammate Darren McKenzie back there in third. Gary Wellman still sitting there in fourth, but Justin Witcher's pulled that gap down to 0.75 of a second. So this is the battle to watch, ladies and gentlemen. This is the battle for fourth position, 31 of 40. Justin Witcher is already up 7 spots on his starting position, making his way up. I think he's a little bit too far to battle for third in this motor race, but he's definitely got something for Gary Wellman. Last time around, Gary Wellman with a 51 flat, Justin Witcher pretty much identical time with a 50.99. They're the quickest two cars on track at the moment. They're about 2 or 3 tenths quicker than everyone in front. So they didn't go as hard early. It's coming back to them at the end of this one. All little too late though. These gaps are a little bit too big. But keep your eye on this battle as we watch Justin Witcher and Gary Wellman fight it out for fourth place for round 11 of the Australasian SUPERCAR eSeries, brought to you by Ray Wright Rural Gander, right here on the InterSim Esports Network. Adam Kessels is in the chat as well, Paul 05 all the way, and Aaron Dillon into the chat as well, mate. Unfortunate for you, and you shouldn't be talking to us. You should be in the race, mate. But Cabo for the win, so he's going for Cade Donnelly for this one. Aaron, not unfortunate incident under braking there into turn one, but here's the battle. Justin Witcher and Gary Wellman. Don't take your eyes off this one. 32 of 40. Gary Wellman very wide over the big hump there. Justin Witcher just pokes it into his mirror. I'm here, Gary. And look, the exact same thing happened. Troy Davidson did it in turn one. Now Gary Wellman does it in the second last corner. He's just putting that Pinnacle Esports car just in that rear mirror and saying, I'm here. And they're thinking they're making the move, but Gary Wellman's got to run down the straight and he's going to return the favour into one. Who's the bravest? Gary Wellman very late on the brakes, locks up the rears a little bit. Justin Witcher on the wrong side of the track, in the dirty side of the track. He's looking at holding it on the outside to get it through this corner. He's in the good position for this corner. Justin Witcher gets him back. Gary Wellman, is he going to keep it on the outside? No traction there for Gary. So there's the move, Paul, and Justin Witcher makes it up to fourth place.
Yeah, very nice racing there between Witcher and Wellman. A lot of courtesy driving there as well, giving each other a bit of room. Big launch over that jump there from Wellman. He definitely looks like he wants to answer back again. He's not happy that Justin's taken away his P4 there.
We definitely can't say Gary Wellman's not trying out of all four wheels off the ground there in his Mustang. So he's trying hard to bring that Commodore back to him and see if he can take fourth place off Justin Witcher, but it looks like Justin's just a little bit quicker at the moment. I bet you Justin Witcher was hoping or wishing he started a little bit higher on the grid, Paul, as he's showing some great pace late in this one.
Yeah, definitely, but not really much Justin needed to do besides keep out of trouble, keep his car clean, and have a good solid result at the end there. And we might be folding up his chair tonight, and we might not be talking to him in the booth, Aiden.
Yeah, it doesn't look like we are at this stage. His chair, I might have to get the old stickers out and change his name for tonight and put Andy Barbers on there, because we spoke to him the other night, and we're going to speak to him again tonight at this rate, and hopefully that hasn't put the jinx on him. But yeah, Andy Barber with some solid results lately, so he's currently in P2. It doesn't look like he's going to be able to catch the 41 of Cade Donnelly. Terry Marwood, we're on board there with ETS Racing. So Terry Marwood, if we go and have a look where he's sitting at the moment, he's just rounding out the 10 at the moment. He's down 2 spots on his 8th starting position, but solid for Terry at the moment with a 10th position. Christopher Finlay, my pick, in 7th at the moment as well. So your pick there leading the race at the moment, Paul. So you did a good job there. Cade Donnelly showing a clean set of heels in this one. He was quickest in practice. He didn't qualify at that time, which put him off 3rd in the starting grid, but he has shown a clean set of heels in this one to lead this race, as we're only 5 laps from the end.
Yeah, and the guys just getting through a bit more lap traffic there with Greg Spencer and Terry Marwood. So Cade's already done that move with I think Andy Barber still yet to make the moves there to get through the lap traffic. So it'll be slowing down Andy a little bit, as Cade's still got almost 4.5 second gap over Andy in P2.
Yeah, exactly. And all the guys being very gentlemanlike tonight, letting each other past. It is only a very short and very tight track, so being very gentlemanlike, trying not to ruin anyone's races. But Cade Donnelly leading the way. Andy Barber, you can see on board there, making his way through lap traffic. The next one on his agenda is a Pinnacle Esports car. Darren McKenzie there in 3rd place, chasing down Andy Barber. He's got that gap back to 2.2 seconds on Andy Barber at the moment. He was 0.3 of a second quicker than his teammate last time round. But laps are running out here, ladies and gentlemen, on round 11 of the Australasian SUPERCAR eSeries here on the Indosim Esports Network, brought to you by Ray White Rural Gander, Witcher Electrics, which is Justin Witcher, and of course AP Esports. Troy Davidson, sorry, that's not Troy Davidson, Christopher Finlay there with Aaron Bryan right in behind him. This is the closest battle on track at the moment, and that is for the 7th and 8th position. Christopher Finlay getting very wide there on exit, couldn't get the power down. Doesn't look like Brian can make the move there. He'd want to be very serious to make a move through this corner, so he'll just sit back and try and set himself up for maybe what will be this corner or possibly the end of the main straight. So we'll just keep an eye on this one. It has ticked over 38 or 40 laps, but this is where our eyes need to be for the 7th and 8th position. Can Aaron Bryan make the move down here into the end of the main straight? It's going into the hard braking zone. He moves out. Is he going to be able to make it? Yep, Christopher Finlay just opens the steering wheel, brakes a little bit earlier and says, okay, you can have the inside line. Is he going to hold it like Justin Witcher did and be on the preferred line for the change of direction? Looks like he is. He's on the preferred line. We're going to be looking for the switch back here from Aaron Bryan. Not going to be able to do it through there with a change of direction. So Christopher Finlay holds fast in 7th position. But next time through the strike, for our leader, Cade Donnelly, it will be 39 laps of 40. He's just gone across the line now, I believe, to take 39 laps of 40. But Aaron Bryan still trying really hard here to make that move for the P7. So we're going to go down and watch as he comes through here. He's just a little bit further back. Christopher Finlay going very wide there on the final corner. And that's going to allow the move to be a lot easier than what was going to be expected by the 817 of Aaron Bryan. And he's gone in a little bit deeper this time into turn 1. It looks like he's cleared Christopher Finlay, and there's the move for P7 done, Paul. But 39 into 40, we'll just jump back to our race leader. He's now heading down into the last corner for the white flag. This time across, it's the white flag for round 11 of the Australasian Supercar eSeries for the 41 Cade Donnelly. So we'll stay on board with him as he makes his way down into turn 1. All he needs to do now, he's got a 6.5 second lead on Andy Barber. Darren McKenzie's pulled that gap back to 0.7, but we'll stay on board with Cade Donnelly. He deserves this one. He's pretty much led it from start to finish. He was quickest in practice, third in qualifying, and leading the way for another Simboys Racing victory tonight. He's getting used to this. Cade Donnelly in the Simboys Racing car, so he makes his way through this big sweeping corner. He's not going to go as hard up over this hill. He's got big gap here. He does not need to do anything stupid. Through the second last corner he goes. No curb through there. Comes out nice and slowly. And we're going to make it through the final corner. And it's going to be Cade Donnelly. Cade Donnelly, the 41 Simboys Racing car, is the winner of round 11 of the Australasian Supercar eSeries. Let's go back to this battle for second and third between the boys, and it is Andy Barber taking second place over Darren McKenzie. I'm sure that one was a little bit of who can get the run there, but this is the talk of the night. Justin Witcher with another solid run tonight with a fourth place, and that will wrap up the championship for Justin Witcher and the 21 Pinnacle Esports car going into round 12. Gary Wellman will finish in fifth place. Troy Davidson will finish in 6th. Aaron Bryan in 7th. Christopher Finlay in 8th. Adam Malone in 9th. And Terry Marwood in 10th, Paul. But we won't go through all the positions yet, mate, because 40 laps, that went quick. But hell, was that some good racing.
Definitely, we've seen some great passes there from the guys. Some great sideways action as well. Some airborne over the jumps and great car control there from everyone. So it's a good night of racing, I think, for everyone.
It was a good night of racing, very quick one. Not used to them being that quick, Paul, but I tell you what, it turned it on, just like all the road courses have this series, as we see Cade Donnelly doing some celebration donuts there on the straight of Lime Rock Park. But oh, Philip Howe just said, "Thank you, Cade. Don't celebrate in front of me. I'm going to absolutely take you out." So I don't know what was happening there. But anyway, there's a bit of viewing pleasure for you there, ladies and gentlemen. But Paul, before we bring the guys up, let's go through the full results for what was round 11 of the Australasian Supercar eSeries, brought to you by Ray Wright Rural Gander. So winning tonight, as we said, Cade Donnelly there, Andy Barber from Southern Stars Racing in second, with the Southern Stars Racing second and third, Darren McKenzie taking that third position. Justin Witcher from Pinnacle Esports in fourth, Gary Wellman in fifth, Troy Davidson in sixth, Aaron Bryan into a nice solid drive there up into seventh, Christopher Finlay into eighth, Adam Malone ninth, and Terry Marwood rounded out your top 10. Greg Spencer came home in 11th with Raymond Yeager, his teammate, in 12th. Nigel Payton, his teammate as well, in 13th. So it was a Pinnacle Esports 4th, 11th, 12th and 13th tonight. Shane Clark in 14th, Philip Howe in 15th, Aaron Dillon in 16th, Pete Matson in 17th, and Todd Maxfield finished in 18th, Paul. What a night of racing, but we will just grab the guys from the top three up into the broadcast booth and have a chat to them. So I'll just go searching for Cade Donnelly. I can't see him at the moment, unfortunately, but we might just start off with third place tonight. Darren McKenzie, mate, third place, second race of the day. You were quick early into second, an unfortunate mistake over that big crest, and nearly lost it early on, and then on the change of direction out of turn 3, I believe, you caught a little bit of grass on exit and allowed Andy to get up on the inside of you.
Yeah, I was getting a bit eager both times. Coming over the crest, I sort of had a bit too much gas as I landed, and she just threw me out a little bit. Lucky to catch that one. And through the S's, tiniest touch of that grass, and I just had no control. I was lucky to keep it off the wall there as well.
Well, I tell you what, mate, you definitely had a lot of pace. You moved up to second quite early, and looked like Andy just let you have that one because you did have the pace early in that one. I bet you're kicking yourself that you couldn't give Cade for a run for his money at the back end of that.
Yeah, I think I pushed a little bit early, like through those S's. I should have just sat back and just pressured him a bit longer and waited for a mistake maybe, or just left it for the last couple of laps.
Well, Paul, across to you as always.
How did it feel going over that jump? Did you, as you said, did you need to lift off a little bit coming up to that jump to just have a bit better car control when it landed, or how was the go there?
Towards the end there, I was getting it straightened up early out of the turn beforehand, the right-hander, and you could hold it flat going over the top. As long as you had your wheels straight, yeah, you could put the foot down in fourth.
Well, mate, it was a solid drive from you. Was it hard to pass around there tonight? It looked like a really short and pokey track. We've all done a lot of laps around here in different things. Me, never a supercar. What was it like to drive a supercar around here?
Yeah, it's fun, but like I said, there's no room to pass. Basically, you have to barge your way past, and slightest mistake, a little bit too wide, and you're on that grass, and you've got no control. So it's a game of risk versus reward, definitely.
Well, obviously, the switch across to your new team has definitely worked for you. Well, in saying that, you're always up the front, but the move across to the Southern Stars racing team, and your car looked amazing on the broadcast tonight too, mate. You got to be happy with that one. Nice, solid P2 and P3 for the team tonight.
Yeah, definitely. It's a good start to the joining the new team, for sure.
Well, mate, before we let you go, big shout out to your sponsors and everyone you want to say thank you to.
I'd just like to thank Southern Stars eSports for bringing on board, and I'll let Andy rattle off the sponsors because I don't know who they all are yet.
No worries, mate. Good handball there. Well done. But congratulations on your P3 tonight. As we move across to the man just mentioned, Andy Barber, the 05 Southern Stars. I call you Southern Stars Racing, but you're Southern Stars Esports. Mate, nice solid P2 tonight. Well done.
Thank you kindly, sir.
No worries. Much of the same questions. Supercar around Lime Rock Park, a little bit different.
Yeah, a little bit hairy. Been a short track, and as Darren alluded to, if you catch the grass by an inch or two either side, you can pay the ultimate price for it. So I guess my mindset going into this race was just to rather than be really, really quick, is just be conservative and try and keep it on the black stuff.
Yeah, well, we saw you take the pole position with a great time there, and you led the early stanza of the race actually quite substantially. You got about a second on Cade Donnelly there. Did you go a little bit hard too early, or you thought when Cade and Darren sort of got a little bit quicker, you go, I've got the pace for third, I'll just sit back here? And then Darren obviously made that unfortunate mistake, which allowed you to take the second place. But was that your sort of thinking, or you just didn't have that race pace to be able to go with Cade?
I was just running kind of my own race up the front there, and then I noticed Cade was starting to close in, and as well as Darren. So I thought that Darren might have had a better shot at Cade than myself. So yeah, I let him go by and basically sat back and watched those two go at it for 20 laps. So it was pretty interesting. And as for the pole, I mean, I was just very surprised about that. My quickest in practice earlier this week was 50.2 or something. So 49.7, don't know where that came from, but I'll tell you, I'll take it.
Paul, over to you, mate.
Well, you pretty much covered everything off there that I was going to get at. Obviously, you had a ripper qualifying time there, P1, and you had a great start there as well. You blew away the field on the start. And then, yeah, as you mentioned, you sort of let Darren go because you thought Darren might have had a better crack at Cade there, which I was going to get at as well, as if you sort of were going to let him go there or not. But yeah, I think everything got covered there.
Yeah, I didn't see the point in really holding Darren up. When Cade was a second or 2 seconds in front of us, so I felt Darren had a bit more than what I had at that stage. So I just sat back and watched him go at it.
Well, that's what we call teamwork, mate, and that's why the Southern Stars eSports guys come home in second and third, mate. But Darren said, obviously, a lot of sponsors to thank. So big shout out to all those sponsors and everyone involved, mate.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks for the NRL quick pass on grand final night, Darren. But shout out to the Southern Stars eSports team, Tiona Holiday Park, Margaret and Adam supporting us down there, cheering us on. Sky Point Sydney, Tommy Pritchard's business there, and of course you guys into Sim for bringing this to the lounge room of plenty of people that are interested, and also the Australasian SUPERCAR series with Raymond and all the magic that they do behind the scenes. So well done, guys.
Well said, mate. And there we go, ladies and gentlemen. P2 for round 11 of the Australasian SUPERCAR eSeries from Lime Rock Park, and it is the 05 of Andy Barber. But without a further ado, we will move across to your winner, the 41 Simboys Racing of Cade Donnelly, mate. You're making a habit of this, that's for sure.
Oh, mate, doing our best, yeah.
Mate, you were quickest in practice, didn't quite get the lap down in quali by the looks of it, but shown a clean set of heels at the front there and took away what I saw as a quite solid victory there.
Yeah, to be honest, I reckon Darren would have had it had he have not made his mistake for sure, but that's racing, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. You've got to be there to win it, and consistency is the key, and you did that at the front tonight. Not the best run for your teammates tonight. They showed a lot of pace through practice. Gary finishing there in 5th, Troy in 6th, Christopher Finlay in 8th, and Aaron Dillon with a little bit of an issue there in the braking zone into turn 1. But good to see you guys back at the front, as we always expect in these cars. And tonight, it's not on an oval, it's on a road course.
Yeah, the boys, you know, they enjoy their circuit racing just as much as they do their oval racing. So yeah, awesome on the guys for putting it in the top 10 and yeah, putting it to the boys. Yeah.
Paul, over to you, mate.
Going back to the last road circuit, I think that was Laguna Seca. You're quite fast at that track, and you were on for a podium win there as well. But that was a bit of a battle there with Justin Witcher in that race, I think.
Yep.
Going into tonight's race, obviously you're fairly quick around here as well. Compared to the last road race, the pressure sort of stack up a bit, and compared to like Laguna Seca, you had a bit of pressure on there, whereas tonight, you know, once you got out there in front of Andy Barber, you were sort of just edging away on that gap, but you did have a lot of pressure there from Darren McKenzie. How was the comparison between the two races?
Yeah, very similar, and I guess when it comes to pressure, I think here tonight too, like there's probably a quicker chance of if you're going to catch a lap car, so that can either, you know, benefit or hinder you. And I'm not sure about how Darren went or even Andy, but I got pretty lucky with the lap traffic. Everyone was really good, moved out of the way, moved to the side. But yeah, like Darren put the pressure on, no doubt. I thought I was going to crack, you know. I think he probably thought I was going to as well. But yeah, this is what I was saying before. This is the races, isn't it?
Well, mate, sensational job there for P1. Had a pretty solid run this year. Obviously, Aaron Dillon is the champion from last year, and he's going to hand over the reins to what it looks like is Justin Witcher for this one. And we're going to come back for another series in a couple of weeks. But before we get to the next series, we've got the final round at Indianapolis Motor Speedway next Sunday night. How are you feeling heading into that one?
Like always, mate, take it as it comes.
That's the way to be. All you guys seem to do that as well. Just go there and see how it plays out, mate. But congratulations once again on your P1. Big shout out to all the sponsors, everyone involved, mate.
Yeah, I'd just like to thank the Sim Boys, obviously. You know, as we've always said, good bunch of blokes. Also, I'd like to thank you guys for the broadcast and Australasian V8s for putting it all on. You know, it's an awesome series, and congratulations obviously to Darren and Andy as well.
No worries, mate. We look forward to seeing you next Sunday for Indianapolis Motor Speedway for round 13. And my apologies, ladies and gentlemen, I've been saying round 11 all night, so I'll catch up. And it was actually round 12. So we go to the final round, which is round 13 next week. And there we go. There's your winner, the 41 of Cade Donnelly. But we've quickly brought up into the booth Justin Witcher, Pinnacle Esports 21. We can pretty much say it now. We'll do the big celebration next week, but Justin Witcher, looks like that's the championship for you, mate.
Yeah, don't want to count our chickens too early, but yeah, it's nice having a decent gap going into Indy.
Well, mate, we've got the points up on screen at the moment, so I'll just roll through them and we'll come back to you. So Justin Witcher, yourself, sitting up there on the top with 402 points provisionally. Gary Wellman is in third spot still with 378 points. second spot with 378 points. Troy Davidson in third with 368 points. Christopher Finlay fourth with 356, and Cade Donnelly in fifth with 342. So it definitely is a Sim Boys Racing lockout there from second to fifth. But sitting there currently with about the 24 points on Gary behind, you've got to be confident going into Indianapolis. If under 24 cars join, you're pretty much guaranteed it. But nice solid drive there up into P4 anyway, mate. You had to work hard for that. There was 8 spots up on your 12th starting position.
Yeah, qualifying couldn't have got much worse. I hit the inside curb on the last corner on the first lap, so it screwed me up for both laps. And then, we sort of went into damage control and thought, I was sort of happy with about 6, I think it was. I think Troy and Gary were in front, and then, I slowly caught him up to him, and we had a good battle, the three of us, for a while there, and got past them, and then, it was sort of 5 to 10 laps to go, and just kept hitting the marks and got it across the line.
Well, I'll tell you what, mate, I definitely had fun calling that one. You kept me on the edge of your seat. I know that Steve Hoppett was in there. He was thinking you were going to get up to the top 3, and we're definitely watching you as you were making your way through. But congratulations once again on a solid result. We just thought we'd bring you up as you are pretty close to catching that championship, mate. And I did have the chair here for you. I said I was going to have to rip the sticker off you for tonight, but I kept it a little bit warm, so I brought you back up into the booth. So, ladies and gentlemen, your top 3 for which was round 12 of the Australasian Supercar eSeries, brought to you by Ray White Rural Gander. It was Cade Donnelly taking the win over Andy Barber and Darren McKenzie for the Southern Stars Esports. So that is round 12 of the Australasian Supercar eSeries. And moving on to Tuesday night, tune into Sim Esports Network this Tuesday night from 7:45 p.m. because we'll be bringing you all the action for round 2 of the Pro Car E-Championship by Blendline TV, brought to you right here on the Sim Esports Network. But before we talk more about that, we'll just bring you through. So as we mentioned earlier in the broadcast, we have signed on for Season 2 of the Australasian Supercar E-Series, and we'll bring you up the schedule of what you'll see here, starting on the 24th of October. So round 1 will be the 24th of October, as I just said, from Chicagoland Speedway. Round 2, Charlotte Motor Speedway, Daytona International, Kentucky Speedway, the iRacing Super Speedway, Daytona Road Course, Kentucky Speedway, iRacing Super Speedway, Homestead Miami Speedway. Well, they're naming it as Speedway, but Homestead Miami is the road course. So it says Speedway Road Course, Course B. So there's the 2 road courses, which you've got there, which will be the Daytona Speedway Road Course for round 3 and the Homestead Miami Speedway Road Course for round 6. They'll then move to round 7 for Phoenix Raceway, then off to Nashville Super Speedway for round 8, Kansas Speedway for round 9, which is also another road course, and round 10 Las Vegas Motor Speedway. And as we are next week here on the Sim Esports Network for round 13 of the Australasian Supercar eSeries, all will be rounded up for round 11 at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. So, Paul, exciting to bring all the action of Season 2 of the Australasian Supercar eSeries here on the Sim Esports Network from the 24th of October.
Yeah, definitely a bit of a change up to the Season 2 schedule for road courses. The guys have opted to stick to road courses that are predominantly from oval tracks. So as it's a more of an oval series, they're throwing in some of those oval road courses.
Yeah, they are, but I tell you what, just because they're throwing in oval road courses isn't going to make it any easier. We've all done laps around there, and they can be a little bit tricky. I'm excited to see how these cars go around those road courses. So excited to bring that to you here on the Sim Esports Network, which will be Season 2 of the Australasian Supercar eSeries, as I said, starting right here on the 24th of October. But before we get there, round 2 of the Pro Car eSeries, Blendline TV Pro Car eSeries. You can see all the action live here on the Sim Esports Network this Tuesday night from 7:45 p.m. And then we'll go straight to what will be the final round of the Australasian Supercar eSeries next Sunday from... at 7:45 p.m. Daylight Saving Time, 7:45 p.m. Daylight Saving Time here on Sunday. You'll see all the action of the Australasian Supercar eSeries here on the Sim Esports Network. But Paul, what a great night of racing. Thank you everyone tuning in from everyone around Australia, New Zealand, wherever you are around the world, here on the InterSim Esports Network. Thank you for your comments. Thank you once again for being a part of the broadcast and what is the Australasian Supercar eSeries. And we'll see you right here on Tuesday night for the next instalment of InterSim Esports Network. From Paul and myself, we wish you a good night.